I'm stuck with this Canadian Mist, and I'm determined to make this sumbitch tasty. Because right now, this tastes like somebody dropped an ounce of old prune juice into a bottle of rubbing alcohol and called it a day. So today, I'm doing something that has never been done before. I will actually make Canadian Mist taste good. At the very least, I'll settle for something drinkable. And I will take on that challenge without using cocktail mix, soda, juice, or blending it with another whiskey. I am removing all the normal ways people survive drinking this terrible stuff. So first, we need a baseline. I gotta try this sucker and see what notes I can work with. You don't want anything that clashes with the crappy flavors of Canadian Mist. You need something to complement those crappy flavors. This sucks so much. I get this like slight hint of pine tree that is completely overwhelmed by the scent of acetone. This thing smells awful. This thing is just as bad as I remember it. It's thin, it's artificially sweet. I get this like fake cheap Halloween caramel candy notes in this thing. This honestly feels like my Glencairn glass is embarrassed to be seen with a Canadian Mist inside of it. Okay, now that I have nosed it, I tasted it, gagged a little bit in my mouth, I think I have somewhat of an idea of what I want to do with this thing. Canadian Mist is made up of a mash bill of corn, rye, and barley, with corn actually being the prominent grain. So I'm going to treat this as a bourbon facelift. Step 1, we need more proof. Canadian Mist is only 80 proof, so it's watered down pretty heavily compared to a lot of bourbons and rye whiskeys that I personally enjoy. So I'm going to add a little Buffalo Trace White Dog. Now I know what you're thinking. Eddie, you said you weren't blending this with another whiskey. Well, technically, this is not a whiskey yet. Whiskey, by definition, has to be put in oak containers. White Dog is a term used for unaged distillate. This is what will be aged for years in brand new charred oak casks to become one of Buffalo Trace signature products. This is mash bill number 1. Otherwise known as their low rye mash bill. And it's the same distillate used to make Buffalo Trace Bourbon, Eagle Rare, E.H. Taylor, and Stag. Higher proof tends to give more texture, more intensity, and more mouthfeel. And since Canadian Mist is so diluted, I'm hoping adding a little White Dog gives us a better foundation before we even start aging it. That looked and felt and sounded like I was urinating for a lab test. I want to get the Canadian Mist up to 90 proof. So if I take 8 ounces of Canadian Mist at 80 proof, or 40% ABV, and 2.5% of Buffalo Trace White Dog, which is 62.5% ABV, that would make my new beefed up Canadian Mist a little over 90 proof. And how do I know that? With math. 40% of 8 ounces, which is the Canadian Mist ABV, equals 3.2 ounces of pure alcohol. 62.5% of 2.5 ounces, the White Dog, equals 1.5625 ounces of pure alcohol. So now we have a total of 10.5 ounces of Canadian Mist, and 4.7625 ounces of that is pure alcohol. You divide that amount of alcohol with the amount of Canadian Mist, and you get 45.4% ABV, or a little under 91 proof. And who said math can't be fun? But now for the really fun part. I bought these charred oak staves on Amazon, and I will link them in the description below in case anybody wants to do a similar experiment at home. These staves are specifically meant for home aging spirits. Since whiskey gets most of its flavor from oak barrels, these staves basically speed run that process. The char helps filter the harshness, while the oak adds those quintessential vanilla and caramel notes. So we're trying to force this Canadian Mist through puberty in a week. One stave goes directly into the Canadian Mist blend, and I have an idea for the second one. With Canadian Mist being as terrible as it is, I'm not convinced that the proof and the charred oak stave alone are gonna fix it. So we're also gonna do a secondary finish, because if we're gonna polish a turd, we're gonna polish it with style. One of the biggest success stories in modern bourbon was the rise of port finish whiskey. Angel's Envy is widely credited with helping popularize secondary finishing in bourbon here in the United States. Now everybody does it, and we are gonna do it too. Port wine barrels, or in this case, a port soaked stave, can bring in notes of dark fruit, raisin, fig, perhaps a little cherry, and sometimes even a chocolate or syrupy sweetness. Adding those richer dessert-like notes might give Canadian Mist more depth and complexity without completely overpowering it. The oak will hopefully act like a flavor sponge. The stave absorbs the port wine, then slowly releases those flavors back into the whiskey over time. I'll soak this second stave in port wine for a few days, and then I'll dry this sucker, and put it inside the Canadian Mist. And if you're wondering why not just add a few drops of port directly into the wine, well then you're basically making a cocktail. We want the wood to absorb those wine notes naturally. Now I got me a really good 20-year tawny port. I'm cheating a little bit because we had just had this port last night, so I'm not gonna buy a new one. However, I would recommend buying something much more affordable than a 20-year tawny for this experiment. In goes the weasel. As you could see, the stick was too long for my other decanter, so I had to move it to this one. Okay, this already smells dramatically different. I'm already getting some more oak and vanilla notes. I still get that acetone note though, which I am hoping will be subdued by this little bad boy. This is the port wine finish stave. I removed the excess wine and I dried it, and I'm trying to really give it a sense of a port finish barrel. This thing smells fantastic. I am getting some dark fruit and berry notes, and now those notes are gonna grace this Canadian Mist with its presence. I'm gonna continue to age a portion of the Canadian Mist inside this little decanter so we could try the difference between one that has the port finish and one that does not. Oh boy. All right, well. Oh. And now we wait. Whiskey teaches us patience, and Canadian Mist teaches us regret. But which one of those lessons will this beefed up Canadian Mist teach us? While this science experiment cooks, I wanted to take a second to let you know that we finally launched our online bottle shop. Canadian Mist is not in there, but you know what is? Our very first barrel pick. A Dark Arts 9-year, 117 proof bourbon barrel finished in Cabernet Sauvignon barrels. And we're calling it Long Dram's Journey Into Night. Pre-orders will be exclusive to Patreon members first, but then they'll be open to the public. So make sure that you're subscribed to this channel if you want more updates the moment they go live. We have a very limited amount of bottles available, so if you want the best shot at securing one, Patreon members will get first access. Plus, you'll also get access to our virtual tasting nights, which have become one of the coolest and most popular parts of this community. It's like a whiskey summer camp for adults. And all that costs less than 3 cups of coffee a month. Probably 2 with inflation. Links are down below and on the QR code right here on the screen. And now, the moment of truth.
I genuinely can't believe how invested I am in this.
Yeah, me too. I feel like my 1-week-old child is graduating. Okay, we have one regular Canadian Mist, one Canadian Mist with charred oak aging, and the third is the Canadian Mist with the charred oak and port finish stave. So 2 out of the 3 have a little stick of wood in it.
All right, well I hope they don't taste like Home Depot.
As long as it doesn't taste like Canadian Mist. I would rather it taste like Home Depot, to be honest. We're gonna try the original, the OG, and this is by far my least favorite whiskey in the world.
You know, I'm getting more of like that old lady perfume.
Yes.
But the perfume, not the good kind, like that cheap perfume. So it's bad, but I don't think it's that bad.
What?
I know, like, I know I'm losing all credibility over here. I mean, it's bad, but I feel like I've had worse.
Next in line, we have the Canadian Mist that was beefed up with a charred oak stave. So let's see if that little stave did anything to the Canadian Mist. I also proofed it up a little bit. It's an 80 proof little piece of crap whiskey, and I added a white dog. So now I want you to let me know if the higher proof makes it better as well as the stick.
I will say it smells a little bit better.
Yeah, on the nose, you're getting a lot less acetone on this thing. You know, now that it's been sitting for a while, I don't know if it's the proof or if it's the stick or both, but I'm getting a lot more caramel notes that I wasn't getting before.
Right? No, I'm getting some too. I like it better. I get a lot more oak.
I think the proof did its job very nicely because now that it's a little bit higher proof, you get a little bit more of the velvety texture. It's not so watered down. You get a little bit more flavor profile in there. It's more like enhanced. The acetone is not so prevalent anymore. You still could kind of tell it's there, but I feel like the pine is a little bit more in your face than it was before.
I don't think I'm getting as much pine as I am just like wood.
Okay.
So maybe this was my Home Depot walk.
All right, so this is a significant improvement, you'd say.
Yes.
This is significantly more drinkable. And last but not least, we've got ourselves the Canadian Mist that's been finished in a port wine stave. And this is the main event. This is the one that I'm most excited about. And let's see what happens. Wow. The nose is significantly different in this.
I completely agree with you. This is a lot softer, I think, on the nose when you're nosing it.
Interestingly, I still get that acetone, but it's kind of like on the back end of my nostrils. I'm getting a lot more of like this cherry note, and I'm getting more oak on this than I did even in the second one. There's something about that stave that really gave it more of those oak notes on the nose.
So the initial Canadian Mist, I got 10 out of 10 for acetone. The last one, 6 out of 10. And then this one, I would say about 3 out of 10.
This actually tastes like a real whiskey.
Right? That's what I feel like I've tasted this before. It is a lot smoother. I also get like more of the caramel with the cherry.
Yes, absolutely. I get like this like caramel bomb with like cherry drizzled on top. It's surprisingly sweet, but not artificially sweet.
I'm very impressed.
Well, it wasn't just the stave, it's also putting it in the port wine for a little while. It's also adding the proof. So there was a science behind this. There was a method to the madness. And I believe that we have successfully Stockholm syndrome ourselves into liking Canadian Mist.
I feel like you went too far, but we can make it work. That's the thing, we can make it work and make it drinkable.
You know what? This used to be Beast and now it's Belle.
Oh yeah.
This is good. I could actually finish this glass.
Me too.
I don't have to spit this out and throw this away and gag on the way out.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't like that with the Canadian Mist. Was it great? No, but I feel like I probably had something worse.
I don't think you've had something worse. I think that you're just saying that just to keep my head from getting so big that it won't fit through the door.
I know, now he's gonna be like Magician Eddie.
If I could make Canadian Mist taste good, I could make anything taste good. So apparently with enough determination, oak, port wine, and experimentation, you could actually make Canadian Mist taste good.
You basically gave it a whiskey makeover.
If you guys want to see us try this with another cheap bottle, drop it in the comments. Which whiskeys would you recommend? I don't think it could get much worse than Canadian Mist.
Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and check out the merch store. And don't forget about the Dark Arts Barrel Pick, Long Dram's Journey into Night.
Until next time,
Cheers.